All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great episode on your favorite political talk show, The Truth, with Ben Jokes. A chieftain of the All Progressive Congress APC, Biodun Ajiboye, says the 2023 Labour Party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi, cannot perform better than Bola Tinubu if elected. Now, from the beginning of the Tinubu administration to this very day, every time anybody associated with Tinubu goes to an interview, from spokesperson to gossip person, all they talk about is Peter Obi. This proves certain things. One, that they know who Nigerians actually elected in 2023, and the original result of that election still haunts them. Two, they know that the people still believe in Obi, and as they are saying all these things, all they are trying to do is just to convince the people that Tinubu is doing well. And if you have observed, what they always say is Obi would have done the same thing Tinubu is doing, or Obi couldn't have done better. Even in their lives, they have never gathered the courage to say Obi would have been worse. Never. But we all know that Obi would have had the country prospering. He would have put the country on the right path if he was the one at Aso Rock. We know that. The ruling party APC knows that. So how can the coalition ADC claim not to know that? I hope that the coalition will do the right thing so that we can take this country back and begin to make it work. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that massive statement from ADC youths to the Tinubu administration. And next is that update coming out of the APC. Some APC chieftains are calling for an end to the Muslim ticket, a move that has engendered a heavy crisis within the ruling APC, especially because it seems like a plot sponsored to fulfill an aim of replacing Shettima. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video. Remi Tinubu is going about bribing Nigerians, from giving 1 billion naira each to states that have been hit by terrorism to giving Nigerian women peanuts. Watch this video.
According to Nigerian First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, the initiative is conceived to strengthen women who wake up each day determined to provide for their families and uplift their communities. She described the grant as a seed of renewed hope to help women recapitalize their existing businesses, stressing the popular saying, "When you empower a woman, you empower a nation." Each beneficiary is expected to receive 50,000 naira cash.
Let me emphasize that this is not a loan. It is a grant and a seed of renewal to help you recapitalizing your existing businesses.
In addition, the governor's wife supported the Renew Hope initiatives by empowering 25 Fulani groups with 300,000 naira each, alongside bags of grains and fertilizer across 20 local government areas.
You saw that. Now, this is best described as robbing Peter to pay Paul. You removed fuel subsidy, and now we pay through our nose for petrol, while you keep all the money to yourself. Then you just stroll to some women and you pick 50,000 naira and start giving them out of the money. You are giving women 50,000 naira to add to their businesses. It shows clearly that Remi Tinubu doesn't know what her husband has done to the economy of this country. In today's Nigeria, a trader would only be joking with herself if she attempts to improve her stock with 50,000 naira. But of course, the gesture is not genuinely made to impact lives. It was just done as show off and an attempt to purchase goodwill. But goodwill cannot be bought with money. This is something that these guys have failed to understand, particularly when the money is coming from the heavy taxes that you have imposed on us. You want to copy Obi's, philanthropy lifestyle using government money. It doesn't work that way. Your plot is dead on arrival. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that update from the ADC youths saying rigging would be rejected massively in 2027. And next is that video that explains the fresh crisis that has hit the ruling APC over Shettima's continuation as Tinubu's running mate. Let's start by taking that update from ADC Youths. Look at how the papers reported it. 2027, even with Ononuga as INEC chairman, we will beat you silly. ADC Youths tell Tinubu. Ahead of the scheduled exit of the chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu by December, youths of the opposition African Democratic Congress ADC have cautioned Bola Tinubu against any attempt to manipulate the process of naming a replacement, vowing to defeat him in 2027 if he appointed his spokesperson Bayo Ononuga as head of the commission. The youth spoke on Tuesday in Abuja under the aegis of African Democratic Youth Congress ADYC, declaring that they were tired of being spectators in the affairs of the nation. The youth said they would match whatever measures or style adopted by the ruling All Progressive Congress APC to subvert the people's will. On INEC, if Tinubu wishes, he can make Bayo Ononuga the chairman, but we in ADC come 2027, we will make INEC do the needful. We have had enough. We are going to defend our votes from the polling units to the final collation center. They can bring trillions of naira. We are going to collect the money, but we will vote ADC. You heard that. Youths vowing to stop at nothing to prevent APC's rigging in 2027. Now, it is possible to stop the All Progressive Congress from rigging. It is very, very possible. But is it an easy thing to do? Absolutely not. But is it possible? Yes, it is. It begins with a massive rejection of the APC. If there are 150 people at a polling unit and 134 vote against the APC and Tinubu, there is very, very little chance of them rigging. I have been saying it. The people have to overwhelmingly reject them first. That is the first step. So 150 people are at a polling unit, 140 vote against them. Rigging becomes very little. But when the people wait and they receive the announcement of the winner at the polling unit and they decide to now follow it up to the state's collation center, that is all for rigging. Rigging has been defeated. Because right there, it will be reannounced and documented into the forms that will be sent to INEC. That was what the people of Abia State did. Surrounded the collation center, and rigging became impossible for the APC and PDP. But for a presidential election, it takes a lot of dedication and preparation to happen in large numbers of polling units. We have over 176,000 polling units in Nigeria. So for this to happen in over 160,000 polling units is not an easy thing. That is why I said it is not easy, but it is possible. And in addition to the transfer of results from polling units to the IREV, this kind of revolution is another thing that can make votes count in a presidential election. But it begs the question, are the youth of this country ready to go down that route? Only time will tell. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that update that explains the recent heavy crisis in the APC began circulating. Few days ago, we saw this. Northern Forum warns against Muslim ticket in 2027. As of the point of this update, APC chiefs were already in heated debates on the matter. On social media and everywhere we're seeing heated exchanges. Some said the group is being sponsored to bring down Shettima. But when a representative of the group was interviewed on channels, this was what he had to say. See the video.
Party affiliations, that have come together, and have been having conversations around the political space, how the 2027 is going to look and stuff like that. So there's nobody sponsoring us. We are interested for those of us that are, members of this Northern Ethnic Nationality Forum who are members of the APC, we felt it is the right time for us to come up with this advice. What we are doing is advice. We didn't want to go on the press.
Is it not a distraction?
No, it's not. It's not. It's
to
not
governance.
It's not a distraction.
Look at the time of the day.
Governance.
Economy needs to be rebuilt. Security needs to be worked upon. A lot of issues need to be fixed in the country.
Absolutely.
We're talking about religion.
Absolutely.
But I mean, what has gone wrong in Shettima doing his job?
No,
and you guys are saying, drop Shettima.
We are not saying there is anything wrong with Shettima, but what we are saying that there is everything wrong with the Muslim ticket. The Muslim ticket is a betrayal of our national covenant, which was engendered by our founding fathers, to avoid polarization, to avoid, disenfranchisement of certain, religious groups. And in the 2023 general election, there are a lot of Christians that were, disenfranchised as a result of that singular Muslim ticket. But you see, talk about, distraction. This is not a distraction. Like I said, we are only, advising Mr. President. And the onus is on Mr. President to pick who his running mate is in 2027. We are saying when that time comes, do not consider a Muslim
Why don't you
ticket.
wait for that time?
Well, if you are talking,
is it not too early in the day?
It's not too early in the day because preparation precedes manifestation. You must be prepared. If you are not planning, if you are not preparing to succeed, then you must have been planning to fail. What we are telling the president, listen, what we are telling the president as members of the All Progressive, Congress, as members, as citizens who are in touch with the grassroots is that, look, there may be quietness now with these issues, but when the campaign commences, seriously.
You saw that. Now, the interviewee said the group is not being sponsored. And whenever the APC denies something, it turns out to be true. But the big question is, who is sponsoring the group? That is, if the group is being sponsored, who is sponsoring the group? And put differently, who is practically asking Tinubu to drop Shettima as his running mate? Could it be Tinubu himself sponsoring this move to fulfill his ambition to drop Shettima? Too many thoughts, but one thing is certain: a faction of the APC, or maybe two factions, don't want Shettima to continue to run as Tinubu's running mate. But there is a large faction also loyal to Shettima. He has his own camp within the APC, and that leaves the party on a keg of gunpowder. That is why they are in heavy crisis right now. Anytime this issue of running mate comes up, it always brings about volatility within the party. And as you know, nothing gives me more joy in the political space than seeing the APC in crisis. As we speak, there are APC members who are not happy with the choice of Yewada from Plateau State as the new chairman of the party, as the new national chairman, because as we all know, he was imposed on the party by Tinubu. There was no election. So there is a faction that is angry with that. There is a faction now that is saying they don't want Shettima as running mate. But sometimes you don't see all these agitations being thrown around in the media because this is the ruling party and these people are still eating from the loot. Most of them will not be bold enough to come out and say, this is my position on this matter. But when it is time for election, you find them working against the party at the grassroots level. This was the same thing that happened to PDP during the Jonathan era. And this is what ADC is trying to tell many Nigerians, that look, there are many people at the grassroots level now who are just masquerading as APC members so that they can continue to enjoy the loot. But they are tired of the rot in the system. And when it is time to make that principal decision, that is that decision of who becomes the president in 2027, they are 100% sure that these people are going to go with the coalition. And I want to believe that there are so many people in this category because two people who have resigned from the Tinubu cabinet have come out to say this same thing, that there are so many disgruntled individuals working even in Aso Rock who are most likely going to vote against this man in 2027. As you know, Buhari lost woefully in Aso Rock in the 2019 election where Atiku and Peter Obi ran on the same ticket. So these things are not just rhetorics, they are things that are happening. In the final analysis, I hope that the ADC youths and the youths of this country will be prepared to defend their votes in 2027. I hope that the opposition will also come up and put their foot down on the fact that we must have a credible process in 2027. Above all, I hope that the right choice will be made as to who becomes the flag bearer of the ADC in 2027, so that Nigerians can take their country back and begin to pick up the pieces of this broken nation. But until then, make I still enter town, make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una na I dey here. So don't go away, don't go away.